Good evening. This is QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Keraba Avenue, and I'm Ashma Uba. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. President Barrow returned to Banjul in the early hours of Sunday morning after attending the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Beijing. The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the WHO Country Office and partners, began a 5-day joint external evaluation forum to assess the Gambia's World Health Organization International Standards Indicators. Mohamed Esba, president of the Gambia Press Union and a member of a civil society organization, has called on the legislature to allow an effective consultative process around the 2024 draft constitution. At its maiden panel discussion on ending discrimination against women, Amnesty International's Canifing municipality branch members and gender activists commended Parliament for rejecting the bill that sought to decriminalize FGM. And in sports news, the Gambia lost to Tunisia in their second Morocco 2025 AFCON qualifier on Sunday. Those and other stories coming up, so stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. President Adama Barrow returned to Banjul in the early hours of Sunday morning after attending the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Beijing, held from the 4th to the 6th of September 2024. Lolem Kamara has the rest of that story.
The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, is an important platform for promoting economic and political cooperation between China and Africa. Held every 3 years in China, the Forum brings together leaders from Africa to discuss and strengthen their partnership with China. Shortly after his arrival at the Banjul International Airport, the Gambian leader emphasized the cordial relations and friendship between the Gambia and the People's Republic of China, saying the forum is significant and presents an opportunity for African leaders to discuss development issues relating to their states.
FOCAC is a very important platform for Africa and China. And listening to the statement from Xi Jinping, the statement was a very, very strong statement with 10 points. All these statements, they are pointing to a very good relationship, pointing to development in Africa, pointing to a win-win situation for all of us.
This FOCAC is crucial for Africa's development as China has become a major investor and trading partner for many African countries, providing much-needed infrastructure, technology and financial resources. At this meeting, President Xi Jinping made a significant pledge towards Africa's development for the next 3 years. President Barrow explains what this means for the Gambia.
Obviously, there is a budget that was announced by the President of China that is 50 million. Part of it is grant, part of it you can access loans from China. But right now, we are offered a grant of 200 million Chinese rand. If you calculate that to Gambian dollars, it's over $2 billion. Definitely, so far, I think it was a very good trip, and we have very good engagement with the President himself and with other investors that we think can support Gambia's development. Because you know very well, our policies, our programs, everything is directed towards developing this country. But that's why we engage with other investors in China so that they can help us in our development.
Through FOCAC, China and Africa can work together towards mutual economic growth and development. During his visit, President Barrow held meetings with Chinese President Xi Jinping and other African leaders to discuss bilateral cooperation and the Belt and Road Initiative. As part of its Belt and Road Initiative, China has built many infrastructural projects, including roads and bridges in the Gambia. President Barrow was also accompanied by a group of Gambian business people who met their Chinese counterparts during the forum. In addition, President Barrow met a group of Gambian students studying in China. The president expressed optimism about the future of the Gambia's relationship with China and the potential for further development and growth. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the WHO Country Office and international partners, began a 5-day joint internal Evaluation Forum aimed at assessing the Gambia's World Health Organization's international standards indicators. Lamin Alhaji Fandingdabo reports.
The Evaluation Forum is a voluntary multi-sectoral process that assesses a country's capacity to prevent, detect and respond to public health risks, including those that may come across their borders. Dr. Buba Manjang, the Director of Public Health Services, highlighted the importance of the forum and its likely impact on strengthening the country's public health system.
It's a new approach and a very important approach that all the other players will go through and know what are some of the areas people can chip in to support the country. And also it leads to the development of the NAFS, that is the National Action Plan for Public Health Security. And this is costed, and then, funders, donors will come in through this to support all the other areas. So it brings in a lot of opportunity for the country and also makes the country prepared in terms of emergencies.
The Gambia, like many other countries, is committed to strengthening its health sector's capacity under the international health regulations. Jane Minor, the WHO's country representative, explains some of the targeted activities the teams will be assessing.
The country team will work with the external evaluators to identify strengths, weaknesses, and gaps in the national health security, provide an evidence-based assessment that can guide strategic planning and resource allocation, facilitate a collaborative process among national stakeholders, international partners, and the World Health Organization, and strengthen multi-sectoral coordination and collaboration to address public health emergencies.
The joint external evaluation exercise promotes accountability and also the effective execution of best practice in line with international health regulations. Adama Drame, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, elaborates on the forum's significance.
By embracing the G, we are not only addressing our current capacities, but also paving the way for a healthier, safer future for us all. Let us continue to work together, share our successes, challenges, and strive for excellence in public health security.
Roland Wango is the representative of the WHO Regional Office for Africa.
At the end, we'll have a scorecard for each of the indicators. We'll have a score, and we'll also associate to each score, to each technical area, a set of key actions, high priority actions that need to be implemented at the level of the Gambia to improve these scores when we do the next assessment.
Health, which is regarded as the cornerstone of every society and country, requires effective collaboration and partnership to attain the best public health care delivery. For QTV News, I am Lamin Alai Fandindabo.
Mohamed Esba, president of the Gambia Press Union and a member of a civil society organization, has called on the legislature to allow an effective consultative process around the 2024 draft constitution to prevent the draft from failing for a second time. He was speaking in an interview with QTV's Usman Jata.
Revived 2024 draft constitution is on a path for tabling at the National Assembly in November. Despite some criticism, some members of civil society organizations advocate a wider consultation before it is tabled. Mohamed Esba, president of the Gambia Press Union and a member of the civil society organization, is one of those calling for more and better consultation and shares his opinion on what he thinks is the right procedure for this.
I'm not saying they do the CRC model, but what they can do is to ensure that key stakeholders are engaged, like civil society, political parties, community leaders, religious leaders, traditional leaders. All these things, people are, the media, all these people are critical stakeholders. Before you send a draft for gazetting, you have to give people the chance to also put their inputs, and then build consensus before it goes to Parliament.
For a bill to become a law, it has to pass through several stages, key amongst which is the third reading and committee review level at the National Assembly. The third reading is the longest stage of a bill's passage and where the most thorough scrutiny takes place. At this level, lawmakers conduct clause-by-clause scrutiny and public bill committees can also take oral evidence from key stakeholders. Mohammed Espa says Parliament cannot allow the Constitution to fail and thus called on National Assembly members to build effective consensus on the draft.
The message is the National Assembly should not allow this process to fail. What they can do is, where the executive fail to engage, the National Assembly have the chance through the committees. Let them allow this draft to go through the committees. When it reach out to the committees, the committee can do a very wide range of consultation so that what we missed out with the executive, we can have it with the legislature. So that it will not be like, we brought the draft and National Assembly killed it.
The 2024 draft constitution introduced several changes from the 2020 draft, which felt at the parliamentary hurdle. One notable amendment is the reduction of the eligibility age to 18 for contesting National Assembly elections. It had previously been 21. The 2024 draft also retains the nomination of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, contrary to the recommendation of the Constitutional Review Commission in 2020. Amid criticism and analysis, the Minister of Justice, Dauda Jallow, in a media briefing a few weeks ago, remains optimistic about the future of the 2024 draft constitution. The draft will appear before lawmakers for effective checks and balances. If the National Assembly gives it a green light, it will go to a referendum to determine whether the country is ready to make history and share its 1997 constitution for a new one. Osman Chata, reporting for QTV News.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more local, international, as well as sports news stories for you. Don't go away.
Welcome to the future of transportation in the Gambia. The Bertel Harding Highway, a 22-kilometer double carriageway, is set to revolutionize travel and connectivity in our beloved country. The Bertel Harding Highway is transforming transportation in the Gambia with new roundabouts and vehicular overpasses. But safety must come first. Standing along the road or at roundabouts to flag down taxis creates unsafe conditions and unnecessary traffic jams. Remember, always board taxis at designated taxi garages or the garas located at major traffic points. Drivers stopping in no stopping zones will be penalized. Let's keep our roads clear and safe. Together, we can ensure a safe and efficient journey for all.
Indian Institute of Hardware Technology Gambia Limited, one of the leading ICT training institutions in the Gambia. Enjoy a 30% discount on all programs' tuition fees if you enroll before the 10th of September 2024. Our program will start in September 2024. Our offered courses: Diploma in Introduction to Information Technology, Diploma in Database Admin, Advanced Diploma in Software Development, Diploma in Technical Support, Diploma in Multimedia, Diploma in Cybersecurity. We also offer Cisco Certified Network Administration CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Professional CCNP courses. Enroll today. Call us at 7001-968. Visit our website www.iihdgambia.gm. Connecting talent to opportunity.
Q Money and Orange Money has just made money transfer easier. Now you can send money from Gambia to Senegal directly from your Q Money wallet. So what are you waiting for? Get your Q Money account now and start sending money to your friends and families through Orange Money in Senegal now. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Ashmauba. The Regional Leadership Center, West Africa, Accra, recently concluded a 3-week on-site training for its 58th cohort, therefore referred to as the Golden Cohort. Our reporter Lena Igwenyeba was a participant as part of the Gambian delegation and provides an insight into the landmark training.
The Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI, funded by US aid and began in 2010 by President Barack Obama, has trained over 8,000 young Africans, preparing them for leadership roles in various sectors. Cohort 50 marked a milestone as the first to concentrate on agribusiness, gathering 106 young agripreneurs from Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Liberia, Sierra Leone, the Gambia, and Burkina Faso. Participants were divided into 3 tracks: business and entrepreneurship, civil society management, and public policy and management. Throughout the program, each participant developed solutions to challenges in their communities, with training focused on building partnerships, mobilizing resources, and leveraging social capital, among others. Participants also traveled to Ho in the Volta region, where they visited 17 businesses, ranging from emerging startups to established enterprises and research institutions, which provided them with real-world insights into agribusiness operations. Cohort 50 also engaged in group work, presenting innovative pitches to tackle agribusiness issues. YALI RLC has empowered these young entrepreneurs, advocates, and public servants with the tools to implement sustainable agricultural solutions and drive food security in their respective countries. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyeba.
At its maiden panel discussion on strengthening, protecting and ending discrimination against women, Amnesty International's KM branch members and gender activists commended the Parliament for rejecting the bill that sought to decriminalize FGM in the Gambia. And Sumana Isonyasi tells us more.
This panel discussion in Kanifing Municipality brought together stakeholders from across the gender activism spectrum to amplify calls for more action to strengthen and protect women's rights. Panelists Fatou E. Jara of Gampo Trap, Fatou Jakeba Sise, Program Coordinator at WAVE, and Yasin Jallo, Deputy Secretary General of Amnesty International KM Branch, all commend Parliament for standing up for Gambian women and girls by rejecting the FGM bill that they say was aimed at legalizing the abuse of women and girls. And while they acknowledge this huge contribution, they urge government to do more to protect the rights of women by enforcing the law.
The whole issue is discussing right now in the Gambia, and thanks to the National Assembly Gender and Health Committee who have stood by their words, and to all the NGOs and the CSOs who were working tirelessly. And as the Deputy Secretary has spoken, we have a victory, and a victory that is not a victory for the end.
Understanding that the Amendment Act still stay, we have to now move the discussion into enforcement and also implementation, because that is where the discourse now surrounds. Because if we have an act in Parliament, how effective is that act?
It is imperative to ensure that these recommendations are not only strengthened, but also implemented effectively. Our objective is to continue building awareness, mobilize actions, and strengthen the recommendation passed by the Select Committee on the Women's Amendment Bill 2024.
The NAM for Banjul North, Modlamin Biba and Modu Osise, Secretary General of Amnesty International KM, say while it is welcoming to appreciate the maintaining of the ban of FGM and all forms of violence and discrimination against women, there needs to be continuous advocacy to sustain and strengthen gains made over the years in the fight to protect and strengthen women's rights in the Gambia.
This has been the gap. When the law was enacted in 2015, Gambians, and I will be specific, the civil society organizations thought the law was enacted, that was the end of everything. Now let us focus on other things, which was a very big mistake, and it is something that was learned. I can say it's one of the lessons learned.
We really welcome what happened in the National Assembly, because we had a lot of activities going on in the few past months regarding the bill, regarding all the practice.
Amnesty International is a non-political organization that focuses on strengthening human rights through advocacy and education on human rights. The KM chapter had a series of engagements in the lead-up to the Parliament's vote on the now-rejected draft bill that sought to decriminalize FGM. Amnesty KM is currently engaging with stakeholders to ensure the protection of women's rights and to end discrimination against women and girls. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News. In international news, the International Day to Protect Education from Attack is being observed today, September 9, to raise awareness about the plight of children living in conflict-torn countries around the world. The day has been observed on September 9 since 2020 after a resolution moved by Qatar at the UN General Assembly. The story is by Babakar Sise and it's narrated by Usman Jata.
This important day reminds us of the devastating impact of war on the bodies, minds and spirits of young learners. Places of education should be heavens for children, students and education personnel. In the Gambia, in 2022 and 2023, several communities, including hundreds of school children in Fonyi Kansala, fled their villages around the border with Casamas following heavy gunfire during clashes between Senegal soldiers and the MFDC forces in Casamas. This led to the temporary closure of several schools in Fonyi after reports of stray bullets and mortar shells from the front line landing in Gambian territory in Fonyi as students were preparing for their exams. Attacks on places of education can suspend teaching and learning, lead to a significant increase in dropout rates and prevent students from accessing their right to quality education. The highest number of grave violations were verified in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Myanmar, Somalia, Nigeria, and the Sudan. As a new school year opens around the world, the children and teens of Gaza remain without their right to education as schools in the Gaza Strip have been remained closed for the 11 months since October 7, 2023. All schools and university students in the Gaza Strip have been prevented from attending schools and have lost an entire school year due to the continuous bombing of various parts of the Gaza Strip, as well as the direct targeting of schools and universities. The Ministry of Education and Higher Education in Palestine, in a statement issued yesterday, Sunday, said at least 10,000 school students have been killed in Gaza since October 2023. The ministry pointed out that more than 630,000 students have been deprived of their right to education since October 7th. In Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, 18.5 million children are out of school, 60% of whom are girls. According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, the numerous attacks on schools by jihadists, particularly by Boko Haram and criminal gangs in the north, have discouraged parents and guardians from sending their children to school. Violence and mass kidnappings have forced the authorities to close more than 11,000 schools in the country since December 2020, according to UNICEF. Globally, the number of children missing out on any schooling has increased from 144 million in 2021 to 250 million in 2023, according to new figures released in September 2023 by UNESCO. The increase is partly due to the mass exclusion of women and girls from education in Afghanistan, but can also be attributed to broader stagnation in education provision worldwide. The findings undermine UN Sustainable Development Goal 4 of quality education for all by 2030. Osman Jata reporting for QTV News.
So just tragic situation there from international. Let's now take a look at sports news in a moment. The Gambia lost 2-1 to Tunisia in their second Morocco 2025 AFCON qualifier on Sunday. The Carthage Eagles now top Group A with 6 points after 2 matches. Our sports reporter Mamudu Gajaga was closely monitoring the game, and this is his report.
While the Independence Stadium remains out of service, this was another home game away from home for the Gambia. Tunisia securely controlled Group A of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers after a 2-1 victory over the Gambia in Morocco on Sunday, thanks to goals in either half from Ali Abdi and Mohamed Ben Romhem. The Carthage Eagles demonstrated why they were tipped as group favourites in the second half with a strong performance, which resulted in Ben Romhem's winning goal. Tunisia took the lead early in the 11th minute when Ali Abdi headed in a rebound shot from a free kick parried by Gambian custodian Sheikh Sibi. After conceding, the Scorpions reassembled in pursuit of an equalizer. Yankuba Minte charged forward, cuts to the right, beat 3 players and passed to Ali Sow, whose deflected drive finds the back of the net in the 14th minute to make it 1-1. It was the forward's first goal for his country in a competitive match. The Gambia applied at least 15 minutes of persistent pressure on the Tunisian team following their equalizer. Yankuba Minte wasted a golden scoring opportunity. Musa Barrow's shot was saved by the keeper, and Aliou Fadera's close-range strike glanced off the post. Tunisia dominated in the second half with more possession and goal-mouth efforts, and after several quick passing and transition play, Mohamed Ben Romhem's shot went in to make it 2-1 in the 75th minute. The Scorpions pressed but failed to get back on level terms in the remaining 15 minutes. After only gaining a single point in 2 matches, the Gambia now faced a difficult assignment in the next round of qualifiers in October with a double-leg tie against Madagascar. Tunisia are top with maximum 6 points from 2 matches. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
In the match in this group played earlier today, Madagascar and Comoros drew 1-1. Comoros therefore moved into second in the group on 2 points, while the Gambia and their next opponents, Madagascar, have 1 point each. Well, I'm afraid that's all we have for you in this news bulletin. Join us again tomorrow for more news. Thanks for watching.